The Caped Crusader is in the DorkLair. Welcome to another DorkLair action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at the Mezco 112 Collective Previews exclusive Sovereign Knight Batman to add to my other reviews that I've already done of the regular release, which is the black and gray, and the Mezco Direct exclusive, which is the sort of Keaton-esque all black with the oval that has that kind of like shiny finish. And so this one, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking this one might be my favorite. I don't know if it's just because it's the newest one or what, but man, it's really interesting what a simple color swap can do to a figure and to its sort of uniqueness. I mean, this is the exact same figure as the Onyx version. It just has different paint, different fabric colors, and a different finish. And man, it just feels like such a different figure. I love them both. I love the regular edition. After like the long term, I don't know which one will be my favorite, but man, this thing is awesome. Let's get into this review. All right, so starting off with a quick look at the packaging. The tin has a gray front with the logo on there. It's got the classic like previews tin. I love these things. They make great storage, and they're just high quality little boxes for these things to come in. It's got sort of blue around the edges, and then we have the back. It's got all the figure and the info on there and some glamour shots and so on. So yeah, the tin's great. I love these pieces. Taking a look at the sculpt, paint, and details on Sovereign Knight exclusive. This head sculpt I love. It's got sort of like this armored look. It's definitely a much more tactical kind of Batman than your Ascending Knight. And I do love like the armored pieces on there and just the way the head sculpt looks. It's fantastic. And of course, this blue color is just amazing. I really like what they did. I kind of want to get a second one of these if I can find one for cheap enough and see if I can swap out. I've seen some people swap this blue head sculpt and the blue cape and gauntlets and boots and stuff like that and put it on the regular gray with the other bat symbol. And so yeah, I may end up trying to do that at some point, and if I can get an extra, but I'm not gonna. I like this figure so much that I'm not gonna mess with this one unless I get like a spare. So the gray, I like the gray so much better than I did, for some reason, I'm not sure why, on the Ascending Knight. There's something about it. Maybe it's a little more matte or something, or maybe it's just the way the design is throughout the overlay, but the suit is a fabric suit with, these little plastic pieces all throughout to kind of make it look like armor and stuff. And so, yeah, I like the way that's done. My logo is... I love the look of the logo. It's very bright, vibrant. It looks really nice. Mine's like slightly off-centered, ever so slightly, but that's really not that. That's very barely noticeable, so I don't mind that at all. Coming back over to the cape, I can kind of show you how the cape looks. It's got a bit of a sheen to it, but it matches the head and everything else pretty well. It's got these, little dips in the edge on the cape to give it that kind of bat look to it. Very thin. It's a much lighter kind of material than the capes that they used on the Ascending Knight Batman. My cape's a little warped. It's a little wobbly, like right in this area here. So hopefully that'll straighten out over time. It just kind of looks a little weird. There's basically like a seam right there where it was folded over. But maybe I'll hit up Eric Harker. Harker Customs is amazing and does wired capes for these things. So that'll be kind of cool if I can get like, and again, I'm not sure I want to customize mine just yet, but I may swap that cape out. We'll see. But in general, I like the cape. The inside of it is a flat finish, and it really comes off as almost a purple color, which kind of reminds me a little bit of a purple hint to that 60s Batman. Okay, so looking at the gauntlets, same kind of thing on the gauntlets as the helmet. This is almost like a little bit of an armored thing going on. These pieces here are fairly stiff. I feel like maybe they were softer on the other ones, but they do have some give to them, so they're not going to cut you open or anything like that. The hands look pretty good. Again, armored pieces. Mezco's attention to detail is amazing. You can just see in there all the little detailed sculpt work. The belt has a little bit of a wash on the buckle, but then the rest of it is a fairly clean gold color. I like the color of it. I've heard some people complain like, oh, I wish the belt was the same color as the bat symbol, but I don't know. I don't think it would look right for me to see that, but it would be kind of a neat thing to see. A little more cartoony if you did it like that. And then, yeah, so continuing down the legs, the knee pads are plastic glued on there. But they kind of blend in. They don't look too crazy. Like maybe at a different kind of angle, it might look a little bulky, but generally I think they look pretty good. And then again, same kind of thing. Armored boots look really nice, very nicely sculpted. No additional paint, but they look really good. And then there's a lot of nice little boot details on the bottom there. So the figure looks fantastic. And this thing, I can't get over how much different it is than the Onyx, even though it is just a straight repaint. Here we have a comparison of the new Batman PX next to the Onyx version and the regular version. And then here he is next to the PX Ascending Knight. So you can see that the blue is a much deeper navy, almost a little bit of a violet hue to it compared to the very bright blue of the previews exclusive from the Ascending Knight. And here's a couple other DC Mezcos with the Punk Joker and the standard release of Deathstroke. And here's Batman next to the Mezco Direct exclusive Catwoman and the San Diego Comic-Con Jim Gordon. Speaking of Jim Gordon, here's the Bat Signal. And bringing in some figures from some other lines, we have the NECA Superman from San Diego Comic-Con, a Mythic Legions skeleton from the 1.0, and a manga realization samurai Captain America. As we know from the previous two releases of the Sovereign Knight Batman, he comes loaded with accessories, and the heads are no exception. In addition to the regular head that's already on there that we've already seen, he's got these 3 head sculpts. First up, probably the most impressive one is this damaged head sculpt with all sorts of like metal, like the metal is showing like it's been scratched up and just destroyed by some clawed beast of a thing. His face is bleeding, just an awesome battle damage, sort of gritting his teeth kind of head sculpt. And then he's got this other, just a slightly less aggressive gritting of teeth, but sort of an action head sculpt here. And this one has the shorter ears, which I like very much to have this option. I have seen some people swap out the faceplate. I don't know exactly how it's done. I'm assuming they heat it up and loosen up the glue in there and then like re-glue it on. I've seen some people do magnets, but it is possible to swap out the face if you want the closed mouth on the short-eared one or vice versa. And then finally, he's got the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, and it's a little less salt and pepper, I think, than the other Sovereign Knight ones. But it is there. You do get a little bit of that kind of a look right here. So mature Bruce Wayne. And again, this is a continuation of the Ascending Knight sculpt. So this is just an updated, a little fuller, a little more gray. He's got a grapple gun that has some blue accents in addition to the gray and the gunmetal going on there. And then the grapple comes out of it. And then he also has a wired grapple piece that I'm not even going to take out of there right now because we've seen this a million times, but you can kind of plug it in there. I don't really mess around with those too much. He has this one larger, more highly detailed Batarang that's got some gold paint in there and some sculpt work going on right there. It's a great little piece. I like it. He has a couple tools for surveillance. He's got this like sonic gun that's got like a little radar dish on there. The radar dish you can pull off and put on the side hole right there as well. But neat little piece. And he's got his bat drone that actually has a little bit of articulation here up in the wings, around a little ball joint there. I really love this one. This one's got yellow eyes and it's got that blue paint scheme. Great looking little piece right here. Unfortunately, there's no like peg to put it onto like the flight stand or anything like that, but you can play around with it and kind of just rest it on there or something. But pretty cool little bat drone right there. And he comes with 10 of these little Batarangs that are painted in a gold color. So that's a nice little change up from the previous 2 that were painted in black. So pretty small little guys. There's no other detail beyond just like the solid gold paint there. He comes with 2 fairly standard gripping hands. I would say these are for Batarangs or just if you want to have him grab onto anything just in general. And then these two gripping hands are a little more compact, almost as if he's grabbing onto these smaller batarangs there. He's got some open hands, gesturing type hands right here. And then he's got these trigger finger hands so that he can hold the grapple gun or the sonic disruptor. And finally, he has these brass knuckles with kryptonite on the fingers to beat the crap out of Superman if need be. He comes with a standard 5-inch Mezco stand. I do kind of wish it maybe had the oval on there, but he's got the regular Sovereign Knight Batman symbol in blue, which has a nice little matte finish. You can kind of see like the shininess doesn't carry over to the symbol. And then it's got the foot peg that you can swap out with the flight stand, as with all the other Mezcos. He's also got those pieces that are like these little wire clip pieces that you can clip onto his cape and use to sort of pose the cape around, but I didn't even pull those out of the box because I just never even really used them. Batman has an excellent amount of articulation. His head can rotate up this far, and then it can bend down this far. So pretty good amount of movement in the head going that way. It can kind of go side to side and move all the way around on that sort of double ball joint there at the head, spinning all the way around. There's a little bit of action there at the base of the neck, but nothing that's going to really be functional, I don't think, in terms of like articulating and posing him. The shoulders can rotate up about this far, and then he can swing them all the way around as much as you can get him with the suit there. There is a swivel at the bicep, and then the elbows are double jointed. He can bring his elbow up this far. I haven't been able to rotate this gauntlet, but this gauntlet I have been able to get it to rotate a little bit, so you can kind of get it out of the way. And I think I can get this arm just a little bit higher because I was able to rotate that gauntlet a little bit. I don't want to mess around with it too much. It's a little stuck there. Then the hand is on a ball and swivel that can kind of like rotate around and bend quite a good deal. And then the upper torso can crunch forward a little bit, and then it can crunch back actually quite a bit. So there's a good range of motion there in that upper torso. That torso will spin just a tiny bit, and he can kind of go a little bit side to side, not a ton. As I work it a little bit more, I'm getting a little more action out of it, but not a ton going that way. His waist will spin just a tiny bit. It's very tight on mine. He can crunch that waist a little bit forward and then a little bit back as well. So we're getting about that much amount. So put that forward and then put this forward, and you get a little bit of crunch there. The leg can kick forward a great deal. And then he can bend his knee. It's double joint. You can get it about this far back, kicking it up that way. He can get his leg back that far. His hip joint does pop forward a little bit when you do that, though. There is a swivel at the top of the thigh, and then the boots do not rotate, at least mine don't. And then the foot can point down just a tiny bit and point up a little bit more than that. Get this much motion out of the foot. And his feet will rock side to side, but in typical Mezco fashion, it's not a great deal of rocker on the foot articulation there. So nothing extreme, but he does have a ton of different points of articulation, and you can get him into a wide variety of fun different poses. And this is an awesome figure. It's man, this is just a striking look, and it's just so classic to me. I thought I was gonna maybe be a little bit let down by the way the gray suit looks, because I don't terribly love it per se on the Ascending Knight one, but wow, it just looks so good when you get that yellow oval on there and you have this really deep, almost like a slightly violet tone to that really dark navy blue. It just really pops, and I'm super pumped to have this figure in my collection. I highly recommend it. It seems to be selling out, but the supply is there. There are 4,500 of these produced, and the Ascending Knight, and I know that a lot of people like this one better, but the Ascending Knight Batman was 3,500, and that one was going for like 65, I think, at times. It was really cheap. So the supply in this is there, but the demand is also there. So it's hard to say what's going to happen with this one. If you find one for retail and you're on the fence, just snag it. I highly recommend this figure. It's awesome. I don't really know if it's going to be dropping in price like a lot of the PX do and like a lot of the standard releases. So yeah, that's a tough call on that one. I say don't wait. I say grab this one. Don't go spending a ton of money. I think you can still find it for close to retail, but grab one while you can. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos, like my review of the hyperreal Darth Vader that just came out. And until next time, may the Force be with you.